So let's have a little look at what the liver's supposed to do when it's working properly. And first and foremost, one of the primary functions of the liver is to regulate the circulation of qi in the body. Now, qi is like the vital energy in the body, and it exists at a kind of macro level in terms of large functional activities, but also at a cellular level in terms of the processes that are going on and changing at a cellular level. The qi circulation can be considered in two primary domains. The first is physical or physiological function, and the liver energy is really important to enable harmonious and smooth and appropriate physiological function. This can be according to various systems, so for example the digestive system. So if the liver energy is obstructed and is interfering with the circulation of qi in the stomach, for example, you'll get symptoms like nausea. It can also cause obstruction in the abdomen, causing things like abdominal pain, irritable bowel, so altered bowel function, diarrhea, constipation, those kinds of things. The liver can also, every organ has its kind of vital function, vital role, and if the liver qi isn't circulating properly in that organ, then that organ will be impaired. So for example, if the liver invades the lungs, then the lung energy can't descend properly and a person might experience asthma or a cough. The second domain that the liver qi operates at is at the emotional level. And the liver qi is vitally important to enable a person to emotionally process their feelings, to feel what they're feeling, to process those feelings, and to express their feelings in an appropriate way. And if the liver becomes afflicted, as we'll see, then this becomes a really important aspect of liver disease. The second important function of the liver is that it stores the blood. And this is three components to this. The first is that it regulates the flow of blood to meet the requirement for activity. So say for example the muscles need blood in order to contract and to function. The liver's job is to enable the distribution and circulation of that blood to meet those requirements. A second function, this is more similar to the Western idea of the liver, is that the liver detoxifies or restores the blood. So when the blood becomes tired or toxic, or then the liver has the role of cleaning and restoring the blood. The third function is completely different to a Western understanding, is that the liver in Chinese medicine is seen as vitally important to regulate menstruation, both by storing the blood, which is then used to enable a menstrual flow, but also by in terms of the qi of the liver, which if it becomes obstructed can cause menstrual disorders. Third function is to control the sinews and the tendons. Now we're not talking here about the bulk or the size of the muscles, that relates more to the flesh or the spleen in Chinese medicine, but the liver's role is to enable the contraction and relaxation of the sinews and the tendons. And if that's afflicted in some way, if for example the liver blood is deficient and liver wind enters into the system, then you might get things like tics, cramps and spasms, even seizures, as these tendons and sinews aren't properly nourished and can't do their normal functioning. The liver also manifests in the nails, so healthy lustrous nails are associated with an adequate supply of liver blood, and diagnostically it's important to look at the nails so that brittle and cracked nails may indicate liver blood deficiency, and that can be very helpful when you're looking at a patient. The liver also opens into the eyes. Now, it's important to remember that other organs such as the heart affect the eyes, but the liver has a vital role as the organ that opens into the eyes. And particularly, for example, when liver blood is deficient, you might get things like dry or gritty eyes, blurred vision and floaters. These are associated with this condition. And also if there's heat in the liver, then that heat can rise and can also open into the eyes, causing red eyes, so things like blepharitis, conjunctivitis can be a sign of liver heat. Finally, the liver houses the hun. Now the hun in Chinese medicine is one of the kind of emotional, spiritual aspects of a person that's really about their ability to project their self or ego into the world. And if the liver is afflicted, then this aspect of a person becomes compromised. One of the ways in which it manifests, if for example the hun is disturbed, is that rather than settling down at night to be nourished and to be rooted in the blood as the spirit should be, the hun is disturbed and is said to kind of go walkabout, and in that experience the person will experience vivid and disturbing dreams and their sleep will be affected. Now, the next thing we look at now is the etiology or the causes of disease.